Thank you for joining me for another episode of Mad Trippin'. On this episode, I'm going to discuss what I would like to see happen with Disney Forward, which is Disney's plans for the future expansions at Disneyland and California Adventure. Now to start, this is just a pipe dream. I get it. I just thought, what if money was unlimited and I had complete control to design the future expansion of the most magical place on Earth? And here it is. And guess what? I saved the best for last. So here's pretty much the map you'll find on Disney Forward. You can Google Disney Forward. It'll take you right to it. They'll explain exactly what's going on. So up here you have Disneyland, California Adventure, Grand Californian, Paradise Pier Hotel, and the Disneyland Hotel. These are the two parking lots with future expansion. This is downtown Disney, and they want to expand over in here. And then this part over here, they want to make the new Disney Springs. But that's not my idea. And what I would do is this. Start with Main Street. There'd be no changes. You know, keep it clean like they do. They do a perfect job with Main Street that I've seen on all the vlogs, so I wouldn't change a thing with Main Street. No changes. Let's start up here in Fantasyland, where you have King Arthur's Carousel, Dumbo the Flying Elephant, Casey Jr. Circus Train, Storybook Land Boats, Mad Tea Party, Alice in Wonderland, Matterhorn Bobsleds, It's a Small World, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, Snow White's Enchanted Wish, Royal Reception. All those stay the same. I wouldn't change those a bit. Always a little upgrade here and there, but they're perfect the way they are. Pixie Hollow would be moved. That we'll come across that later. Be placed with the Rapunzel Castle, where Rapunzel could get up in the top and do a meet and greet from the top of the castle with her long hair. Peter Pan's Flight is moved and replaced with a Sleeping Beauty dark ride, which I think would be pretty cool. Pinocchio's Daring Journey would also be moved, and that would be replaced with a Raya ride, a little dark ride there. Now, they're being moved, they're not being taken away, so we'll get to that a little bit later. Toontown, they're already working on it. You know, up here in, I think this would be Fantasyland, you'd have Toontown up in here. They already have Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin. Mickey and Minnie's Runway Railway is going to open, I think, in 2023. Gadget's Go Coaster, you have there. You have all the houses: Mickey's, Minnie's, Donald's Boat, Goofy's Playhouse, Chippendale's Treehouse, and then they're adding a new park. So all the stuff that they already have planned there, that they're already working on, as a matter of fact, as Toontown is closed on this date. They're doing a pretty good job, and I like what they're doing there. So I just let them keep on going. Wow. Tomorrowland, Finding Nemo Submarine. Now, Tomorrowland's going to be over in this part of the park here. Yeah, Finding Nemo Submarine Voyage, that would be gone. I don't actually know what I would replace it with. I'd redo Tomorrowland. Probably one of the biggest lands that I would redo. I think that I would do with Autotopia. I'd either replace it with e-cars, electric cars, or I would do a Tron roller coaster right there. Star Wars Launch Bay would be moved. We'll come to that. That's towards the end. That's my favorite land here that we'll be getting to. Hyperspace Mountain would become maybe Big Hero 6. Tomorrowland Theater, I guess would stay the same. Star Tours is going to be moved. Astro Orbiter stays the same. That's iconic. Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters gets moved, and maybe replace it with Treasure Planet, maybe? I don't know. Something that would fit into Tomorrowland. Tomorrowland's going to be an area that they're going to have to really redesign right here. Thinking about stuff for the future. I like the idea of it still being Tomorrowland, though. So I wouldn't change the name. I would just start putting in stuff. Meet the Robinsons. That's one of the ideas I had for right there. For in Tomorrowland, for Space Mountain, maybe would be Meet the Robinsons instead of Big Hero 6. I don't know. But Big Hero 6 would definitely be in there also. Get a little Betamax there in Tomorrowland. I like that. As I said, Star Tours would be moved. Astro Orbiter stays there. Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters gets moved into California Adventure. And replace that with maybe a Wreck-It Ralph. Kind of like that idea too. Okay, Frontierland, all good. It's iconic the way it is. It's authentic Frontierland looking. I would keep that the same. You know, maybe a little bit of facelift. Keep it clean like they do. They do a great job on that. So no changes there. Adventureland. I would switch the Treehouse probably to Swiss Family Robinson, or even Pirates maybe, like a pirate Treehouse. I don't know, for kids. All else is perfect in Adventureland. Wouldn't change a thing there. New Orleans Square. Pirates is awesome. That stays there. Indiana Jones is perfect. Jungle Cruise, love it. Tarzan's Treehouse, like I said, back to Swiss Family or a Pirate's Treehouse, and Haunted Mansion is so good. So New Orleans Square, I think, should expand into Critter Country and move Pooh Bear out. We'll get to that a little bit later. Replace it with the Fox and the Hound ride. How cool would that be? Splash Mountain, of course, is getting rethemed to, and rightfully so, to the Princess and the Frog. So I think that's a good move. I like that. Keep that going. And then add a DuckTales or a Rescue Rangers ride. Now, how cool would that be to have some sort of New Orleans-themed DuckTales or a Rescue Rangers ride, along with the Fox and the Hound in there? Iconic parts of Disneyland. Keeps the Disney theme going here inside Disneyland. I like it. Okay, now where are we going over to? So we did Main Street. Tomorrowland has big changes. That has to be totally redeveloped, I think. Toontown, they're working on it, and what they're doing is pretty good. Then over here you have Frontierland. Keep it the same. Adventureland, keep that the same. Rides are all great. And then New Orleans Squares, they're switching into Tiana's ride for Splash Mountain, and then go over into Critter Country and do a revamp there. And then we'll come to Galaxy's Edge. That's the last part. That's the part we're going to save. We're going to move down to California Adventure now. Coming to California Adventure, you have Soarin'. I'd keep all this pretty much the same over here to look like California, like that old Hollywood right here. But as we get into right here, I would change this into Marvel New York. This whole area here where Monsters University is, I'd take Monsters University out and move it over to Ariel's Grotto. Take Ariel's Grotto out and move it over here to the Disneyland area, because I would theme all this whole area, and this is the expansion part here. I'd theme this whole area in Pixar films and Marvel. So you could do Marvel New York over here and have it blend into the Adventures Campus. Keep Cars Land the same. Pixar, the wharf here, I'd keep that as an adult kind of area, restaurants and stuff like that. The winery I would take out and switch to Ratatouille. Monsters Inc. goes in over here where Ariel's Grotto was. This whole area over here of carnival-like rides, I would theme towards Toy Story. So I would take out the Goofy roller coaster and put in something else for Toy Story, and then you moved Buzz Lightyear's Astro Blasters out of Tomorrowland and put it down here in the new Toy Story Land. Then over here, this would be themed as it is Incredicoaster, so it would have a little more theming to the Incredibles. Keep the wharf the same, make it more adult-orientated food. Cars Land the same, and then you cross this bridge here, and it goes back into more of Pixar Land. Paradise Pier would be incorporated into Pixar Land, the hotel somehow. As you cross the bridge, you have, I was thinking something, I couldn't remember the movie, was it Coco I'm trying to think of? But Coco would be one of the lands there anyways. Let me get to that page. Before we cross over into this area, Grand Californian has the Red Creek Trail, I believe that's what it's called. I'm going by all vlogs. I haven't been here in a long time, but in that Red Creek Trail, I'd like to see that a little more themed, and I would put in little tiny Bugs Life creatures, maybe hidden in the trees like they're working and stuff like that. From Bugs Life, I think that'd be great. Like little hidden Mickeys, these would be little hidden Bug Life figures. But you cross this bridge, and I think if it's in Kanto or Coco, maybe that's what I'm thinking of, where they have the bridge right there. So I would theme that bridge so there's shops, maybe even little restaurant carts on each side as you're crossing the bridge into this land down here. And this land down here would kind of curve in like this area and go over to Paradise Pier, while this land up here goes into Disneyland. We'll get to that. But down inside there, we move to the Pixar expansion, which is currently the Simba parking lot. Maybe keep a parking structure underneath. I don't know how to work all that stuff. That's for the engineers. Or move it, but I would continue with that bridge. And then over in these areas here, somehow I would fit in Coco, Up, Soul, and Inside Out. Maybe one or two rides, and then the rest of the buildings just kind of themed to the different movies there. But I think that would be very cool. Little meet and greet areas. And then as we come up in here, so you got those areas down here, and then I think they should take this Paradise Pier area and make a ride and kind of theme the area outside the hotel for Brave and Onward. Now let's go back up to the future expansion area of Disneyland. So you have Disneyland right here. This would be the bridge, I think, is what they were talking about, pushing into this area here and here. Nice little bridge would go over the road right there. So I believe this is the Disneyland Parkway Road or whatever I forget what they call it, Disneyland Drive, something, to get into Grand Californian. So I would theme the hotel here for Ariel, and you could do a ride for her right in there that kind of connects to the hotel maybe. And then as you come up in here, this would be like the sandy area, and it starts to become almost set up like Epcot. So you would have Ariel's beach right here with the Lion King right above her. And as you come over here, it's like Pete's Dragon with the lighthouse, and then Aladdin and Tarzan getting into South America. You come up to Encanto, and then you come over the bridge, and on this side, maybe you get into the Orient with Mulan. Then you come up here to maybe France with Hunchback of Notre Dame and Beauty and the Beast. And then at the top, I would do Frozen, so you're up in the northern countries there. And then you come on down here to England with Mary Poppins, Peter Pan, Sword and Stone, 100 Acre Woods, and Robin Hood. That would be a nice little addition here. Maybe a big area for England to have those there with some rides. You definitely would put Peter Pan back over there with Tinkerbell's Pixie Hollow. Maybe have another ride with Winnie the Pooh switched over there. The 100 Acre Woods I was reading as I slipped off there. I had the 100 Acre Woods there. As we're coming down here, right after the 100 Acre Woods, you could switch into kind of the American area with Brother Bear and Pocahontas. And then, like I said, Lion King right here. Back into the sand, that would go into the sand with Ariel. So I think that would be a pretty cool little setup for Disneyland there. Like I said, a little Epcot tour of the world there with the different themed areas from the movies for each land. So that would be pretty nice. Now, before we get to my favorite parts up here and here, and right here, I'm going to quickly go over this area here that they want to expand from downtown Disney and then going in here. Now, what I would do is I would just expand downtown Disney over to here with some sort of a bridge to go over the road here, and then make this the Hulu and ESPN kind of the adult downtown Disney area. You don't really need a Disney Springs, I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong. They like Disney Springs in Florida, but I think with Disneyland, if you do something like that where it all connects right here, going from downtown Disney to here, this area being for adults, I think that would work out perfectly. And then this area is the water park, right? This is kind of neat. So instead of doing the Disney Springs down here, I think you should do a water park like you have over in Florida. Volcano Bay, that might be the Universal Studios one. I'm going to have to look. I'm tired. It's late. I would do a Jungle Book lazy river that encompasses the whole park, encircles the whole park with exits and entries in each land. Each land comes complete with shops and restaurants, of course, little carts and refreshments. Nemo and Dory, and of course, they all come with the restaurants and the shops, but they would also have an aquarium and a dark ride. A Bug's Life would be a kid zone with splash pads and little water pools and stuff like that. And as you go around the land, go to Atlantis, and that has a slide and a coaster. A Goofy movie would have a movie theater and an arcade and a slide. Mickey and Friends would be in the middle. That'd be the big area with the wave pool and the extra pools. Cabanas, sandy area, beach volleyball, maybe sports, something like that. And then down in here would be the next land would be for Luca, and you'd have a coaster and a slide. Then you come over here to Lilo and Stitch, and you have a slide and a dark ride. And then right over in here would be the Jungle Book area that has its own slide, plus the lazy river that would encircle the whole park. And that would be a very cool water park to have at Disneyland. It does get warm in the summertime, would definitely be useful. So I think that should be looked into. And you don't have to have big complicated roller coasters or dark rides, because the park, I don't know if it's going to be something that you could have open all year round, or if you did do really nice big rides, you could probably have it open all year round, just cut out the lazy river and stuff like that. And instead of just having tubes in there, you could actually send people down in boats just to maybe watch the fireworks or something. And I don't know, there's always a way to imagine something to keep the park open and make money, right? So we get rid of that land, those two there, the Disney Springs, just expand downtown Disney, and instead of doing Disney Springs here, turning into a beautiful water park with all those exceptional. I mean, people, a Goofy movie, people are going to love that, right? Jungle Book, Lazy River, that's exceptional, baby. We're on the right track. Okay, now we're going to move to my favorite part. Getting a little excited here. Going to talk about this. So we know Galaxy's Edge is here. We know that they have Rise of the Resistance and Smuggler's Run and rumor has it that they were going to add another ride eventually. So I don't know if they will. I haven't been on these rides yet. I have not been in land. Like I said, I haven't been to Disneyland a long time. Hopefully plan on going. But in that land right here, what I've seen the vlogs, people love it. People love the 2 rides. So here's where I do my expansion. Of course, we took Star Tours out of Tomorrowland. We're going to put that here and here. And what it is it's going to be a transport between this land, and this land. This would be Galaxy's Edge Batuu. This would be Tatooine. And this would be Endor. This is kind of my favorite one right here. So Galaxy's Edge, whatever they have planned for the ride, the way they designed it, what I see in the vlogs, love it. No changes, right? But we're going to get to Tatooine first, which would be this area here. Develop that area into Tatooine. And somewhere up in here, I don't know if I remember seeing on the map that they had an area, I think that's a hotel right there. If they had an area where they could add the Galactic Star Cruiser, and then when you take the shuttle to go back down to the planet of Batuu, you could go here, or you could take, and then when you're here, you could take a transport to Tatooine or to Endor on Star Tours. So instead of Star Tours not moving, it would actually, as it goes through the ride with you and ups and downs, it would take you to Endor or Tatooine and back and forth. And then back to the Star Cruiser, right? So you put the Galactic Star Cruiser in here, so we have our own version down here, and I would do it differently. I wouldn't do it just like Florida. I would do a whole different theme for it and stuff like that. I really like the one that they did in Florida. That's why I would change it, because that one's authentic to Florida, so I would keep that the same down there. Now in Tatooine, you got to have the cantina, right? The spaceport, that's absolutely there. You could do a pod racers ride, build a blaster with Jawas, just like you build a lightsaber here in Galaxy's Edge. You can build a blaster with Jawas. I think that would be pretty cool. Of course, shops, carts, food, design it just like Galaxy's Edge. You need to have a nice restaurant in Tatooine. You don't really have a good sit-down restaurant here, so I would put one in Tatooine. Some type of outdoor roller coaster, T-16 Skyhopper or Mandalorian, something like that. And then sometime in the future, you can do a Mandalorian ride out in here somewhere, or a Jabba's Palace, and keep that Galactic Star Cruiser right there. All interacts with 1, 2, 3, 4 lands right there. Galactic Star Cruiser 1, Tatooine 2, Galaxy's Edge 3, Endor 4. Now that's my favorite right there. Endor stepping up to the plate here. I think this would be a cool land, totally built indoors. Everything's indoors. You wouldn't know it. You'd think you were outside. It's always nighttime at Endor or something like that. Or, no, they did midday when they were doing the battle. So, but it's indoors for the most part. I guess you could do some outdoor areas. Big old trees where you can walk up and go to a restaurant in the trees. So that'd be cool. But let me start at the top here. So, of course, you have the Star Tours that takes you from Batuu to Endor. I was thinking even you could do a Star Tour. That way it's a different ride each time, but you could take one to Tatooine also and do, just like a different ride. It's a different adventure here. It's a different adventure here going back, so you have what, 7 different rides there. I thought what would be cool in here would be, how they had on Endor when Han Solo and R2-D2 were trying to get into the bunker. I would use that bunker and make that a storytelling like it is with Mr. Lincoln, but have C-3PO do the storytelling with Ewoks sitting by him, like around a campfire, like he did in Return of the Jedi, like when he was telling the story about the battle. And he could tell stories about, you could do maybe 3 or 4 different stories that he tells. So it's not the same adventure every time. You go one time and he's telling the story of Hoth. You go another time, he's telling the story of Endor. You go another time, he's telling the story of the Jedi temple or something. You get where I'm going here with this. I think that'd be cool. Big old, you walk into that building shaped just like that in the woods, and go down in there and it's a theater like that, and he does a story with special effects and lighting and sound effects and stuff like that, where he makes, like, imagine C-3PO telling that story, and he's making the sound of the TIE fighters and the lightsaber and everything. That would be just awesome. You could have R2-D2 there with him listening to it. A bunch of little Ewoks, animatronics, sitting there listening to him tell the story. That would be awesome. And again, there's 10, 15 different stories he could tell. So every time you could go in there, the story could be different. At 1 o'clock, it's the story of Hoth. At 2 o'clock, it's the story of Endor. work with me here. You can see where I'm going, right? So that's one of my favorite parts there of Endor, the moon of Endor, is the storytelling with C-3PO. I think that would be very cool. Of course, you have meet and greets, without a doubt, right? You got to have meet and greets in Endor with Ewoks. You could have a dark ride, the Battle for Endor, a speeder bike ride, build an Ewok, like Build-A-Bear. So you go into a shop and build an Ewok. Who's not going to do that, right? Who's not going to go in and build themselves an Ewok? That's just brilliant. Thank me later. Don't have enough money to copyright. It's all yours, Disney. Love you. Do with it what you will. Then you have a kids corner with maybe some small rides, since you are in Endor with the Ewoks, and the kids are going to love them. So you got to have some little area right there where they would do maybe 3 or 4 little small rides. Of course, you have your shops, your carts, your food, and stuff like that. A restaurant in the trees, like I was saying. Possible boat ride, maybe like Pirates through the Forest Battle of Endor. I think that would be kind of cool for their ride. You get on the boats just like it is Pirates, and maybe that's where you go through the restaurant, kind of in the trees. As you're going through the boats, you kind of see on the river, you see the Battle of Endor, maybe a speeder bike going by. You just Imagineers. I know Imagineers would just go crazy with a plan for something like that. So if you're a fan of Star Wars like I am, I want you to sit back and I want you to think about that. The moon of Endor. And have a log ride like Pirates of the Caribbean, but instead of going through the swamps of New Orleans, you're going through a river on the moon of Endor, and you're reliving the battle of the moon of Endor from Return of the Jedi. And you pass by one section, and it's just like the Blue Bayou restaurant, to where, like maybe right at the beginning of the entrance or something like that, you can see the ride from the restaurant and vice versa, and it makes it look like the restaurant is actually, you know, part of the ride. That would be pretty cool. But animatronics through there of stormtroopers and Ewoks and Han Solo and Leia and Luke and R2 and C-3PO, AT-ST walking through there. That would be so cool. Shooting across the river. Imagineers could do a lot with that. I'd love to see the moon of Endor come to Disneyland. Have a nice little Pirates of the Caribbean-esque ride to it, you know. That'd be very cool. With the restaurant up there, and like I said, a little kid corner. And then you would have the Star Tours rides that takes you to Batuu and Tatooine. Love the idea. I don't know how you do a speeder bike chase ride, but I would rather have the storytelling with C-3PO and then a log ride like Pirates of the Caribbean. I think that would be so cool. Kick back, think about it, and imagine that. Without a doubt. Well, my friends, that'll end this video. Of course, leave comments. I'd love to hear what you think should be done at Disneyland. Check out Disney Forward, and it gives you kind of the idea of what they plan on doing next. Well, thank you everybody for watching. It is much appreciated. Please check out Disney Forward for yourself. Leave comments what you would like to see done at Disneyland. And remember, never stop tripping.